side, I'll show you. We got a little bit of damage, but I finally got her stopped working long enough to come take a look at the view. Right there, one little flake of gold. It's like going back in time. It's pretty cool. These roads to get to this point, the last 200 miles, have been just miserable. It's taken us about 8 hours to get 200 miles. It's just so rough. Once I get the trailer set up, I'll bring you inside. I'll show you. We got a little bit of damage I noticed when we stopped and got lunch. All right, I got it opened up. Let me show you guys what happened. I have this holder here that holds our cutting boards in. Goes inside this cabinet, and it usually hangs right there. It fell off. No big deal there. But this piece here used to be part of this right here. You can see where it broke. You see the groove? It's supposed to be right here. And it broke and fell off. So the brakes to hold this up, I'm going to have to rebuild. It looks like the brake point was because there's a hole here for a screw. So that's what the groove is. It's just super thin right there because they had a screw hole in it. But that's okay. I'll fix it. No big deal. Other than that, I think everything else stayed together. This is the way we do it. We put our garbage and stuff in there. Our laundry usually just sits there, rides pretty good. This cooler lid always bounces out. It just sticks right here, so that's to be expected. All of our clothes and stuff that's usually hanging on the rack over there, they just go on the couch. Our paper towel, I forgot to put the rubber bands on it. So normally I put these rubber bands over it to keep it from sliding out, but I forgot to do that, so it's unrolled. And it looks like the cap, the coffee maker, has bounced off somewhere. I don't know. I'll find it eventually. And our water, at one point during the ride, had spun and turned itself on, which it did again. But I keep the water off, so it wasn't a big deal, but it did leak a little bit of water. But in here, everything usually rides pretty good. Oh, no. It looks like Jessica's bras came open. So this cabinet, let me turn the lights, it's pretty funny. This little cabinet right here came open, and it's just held closed by a magnet, and everything fell out. So just goes to show, these roads are pretty rough. But we head on the next trip up to the top of the World Highway, and I hear it's even worse. So we'll find out. All right, guys. You know, you watch everybody go up to Alaska, and you think, oh, that'll be cool. All the animals and beautiful scenery and everything else. It sounds all great and good. But as you can see, it's fairly light in here. We've got all the lights out. We've got all the blinds shut. And it's still this light here. I want you to know it is 11 p.m. How am I supposed to go to bed when it's like this outside? And shining in my windows. How am I supposed to go to bed? Well, I finally got her stopped working long enough to come take a look at the view.
It's pretty awesome.
But for you one-wheelers out here, top of the hill, right there, there you go. There's a double black diamond for you if you want to try that. Black diamond right over there. Tomorrow, I'm going to ride the blues that are back over that way. Maybe I'll step up to this black. I don't know. We'll see. But I wanted to show you guys the view from up here. We'll go to the other part so you can see the other side. It's actually better. But this is pretty cool. There's the Dawson City town right there. And then that's all the mining stations and stuff there. As you see the roads going back, that's what takes you out to all of the different mines that you see on Gold Rush. So you got Parker and Tony Beats and all of those guys. They're out up in the mountains, way up in there. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this video or not, but if you look, you see those little squiggly lines that look like someone's been welding. It goes through the whole valley like that. That's all the old dredge tailings. They did a lot of mining in this area and still do. A lot of money comes through here. And then When we leave out of this area, we're going to head out across that mountain range right there, the top of the World Highway. Goes right out across all those white top mountains that look like clouds to you guys on video. I guess I should have told you guys where we're actually at. We're boondocking on top of the hill that's right outside Dawson City, but they call this
Dawson City.
That's what I said, Dawson City.
You said Carson City again.
Oh, well, whatever. This is the Midnight Dome. That's what they call this mountain here. It's quite the bench right there. Bigger one.
This part's a footrest.
Oh, jeez.
It's like a bleacher.
Oh, it's a bleacher, huh?
Sorta, kinda.
Check that out. Isn't that cool?
Queen of the mountain!
Pretty good woodwork and the knots on the trees.
Look at that view, though.
Yeah. And you're sitting here looking down on the creek or river. All the beautiful white top mountains off in the distance and the green in between. Just as a reference point, I'm standing on top of the dome where that big chair is, and right there is our rig. That's where we're camping at. All right, you can't come to Dawson City without going and visiting the mines.
Right.
And we've made it up to dredge number 4, which a lot of people have featured this dredge. It's way bigger in person than what you think of when you're seeing it on film. And we have decided we're going to go ahead and take the tour. And so we have Abigail is going to show us around and tell us about it. She gave us permission to put her on in spurts, so you guys will get to see it. But there you go. It's a big old dredge. And here's the big old buckets and the pens. Can you imagine having to replace those pens? These big old buckets. I know you guys watch Gold Rush. You've seen Tony Beats dredge.
Hello, Dredge No, bonjour. My name is Abigail. I am a heritage interpreter with Parks Canada, which is a federal agency that's dedicated to protecting and presenting sites of natural and historic significance all over the country. And we have dredge number 4 National Historic Site, which we're going to be exploring today. All of our different historic sites are individually allocated because they represent different parts of our history and our culture. So placer is the type of gold we have out here in the Klondike. It just means that the gold is freely distributed among the gravels above the bedrock. So we don't have to smash anything, and we don't have to use chemicals to leach. We just need to separate that free-floating gold from the rest of the gravel. And the way we do this is with water and gravity. We wash the dirt out here. Now, gold is about 19 times heavier than water. Pretty much all the other sort of ground, the gravel, the different dirts we have are just about 4 or 5 times heavier than water. It up into the dredge, dropping it into the hopper here, which leads to the trommel. Does anybody know what trommel means? It's just German. It's German for drum. So it's a big metal drum with holes, perforations, that is spinning, and there is a lot of water being pumped in to this drum at the same time. So this is where that washing machine happens. The rocks are spinning with all the water, and that force of the turning and the water rushing through makes it so that the very small and heavy particles, like gold, make their way through the holes and stay inside the dredge, while all the larger or lighter material gets sent off the back. This is the stacker belt off the stern or the back of the boat here. The big conveyor belt that is creating piles behind the dredge. Sure, you folks probably noticed the tailing piles along the Klondike Highway. Those are the remnants of where the dredges move. Now, I talk about the dredge moving, and ponds are pretty well known as stationary bodies of water, traditionally. The dredge pond is special because as the dredge digs out the front of the pond, it fills in the back, and the pond actually moves along the valley with the dredge. So it brought it with it. And they could be a lot more versatile than the hand miners who were pretty well stuck to the edges of the creeks. These dredges were free to move about the valley and get gold in places that had never been touched before. And so, that's how it's moving around.
Those are some giant wooden beams that holds this thing together. These were what operated the winches. You see the size of this beam. That's a small one. Look at this one. That's a big old beam. And these beams are everywhere in here. This is how they hold it all together. All the working parts. Pretty cool. One of the winches that raised the bucket line. The size of this gear.
It's 14 feet in diameter. Wow. All right. Welcome to the trommel deck. We're up on the second deck here. We got a really, really good look of everything going on. We've got the nice showstopper here up top, and we have that hopper. So this piece of metal right here is where those buckets are dropping all of the material in. Now, when you think of how big a boat is, some people might give you the displacement of how much water is moved. That's how you know. Dredge, that is not how we talk about how big a dredge is. If someone were to ask you how big is dredge number 4, in terms of a dredge worker, you would say it is 16 cubic feet, because that is how much material each of its buckets can hold. And generally speaking, if you wanted to know how big a dredge was, you knew how big the bucket was. 16 cubic feet is pretty decent. There was one of those buckets dropping into this hopper every 2 seconds. It took a little over a minute to do the full rotation. Now, that's a lot of material coming in down into this big metal drum. I don't know if you've ever put a pair of shoes in a dryer, or maybe some beans, dry beans in a can, and shake it around. It's a lot of noise coming out of this place. There's, again, an Olympic swimming pool size worth of water moving through every 45 minutes. It's just that high pressure pump coming up and spraying into the trommel at the same time that all this material is coming through. The entire thing is rotating, and you can imagine that we can't grease or oil any of these components, because what happens when a little tiny fleck of gold gets covered in oil or grease? It floats, and the entire process is rendered null and void. We cannot let any grease or oil touch the gold. So all of these spinning, turning, the pins on the buckets, holding them in place on that chain, it's all just the beautiful sound of metal screeching against metal as it's going through. These pieces were in panels so that they could be replaced and repaired as necessary along with the buckets. Bet you can't guess what the most common workplace injury on a dredge was. Definitely. Absolutely. Hearing loss. These dredges only stopped operating in 1966. Around that time, it's our very recent history for us. And so we get a lot of dredge workers who come on the tours. It's always super, super exciting when we get a former dredge worker on the tour. I'm a huge nerd and a historian. I love to ask questions, ask them, learn about what it was like to actually be here on the dredge. But the most common answer you get from a dredge worker to any question is, what? Because they cannot hear you.
All right, I got me a pan of dirt to see if I can get any gold out of it. I don't know what I'm doing, so let's see. I watch them on Gold Rush do it all the time, so that's where I learned how to not do it. I don't have a classifier, so I got to do that with my hands in this freezing cold water.
So we're at a free claim. This is claim number 6, which is set up as a free claim area that visitors can come and pan for their own gold. I thought you have to do it with 2 hands and swirl it around like a washing machine.
That's kind of what I'm doing. So I have the ripples in my pan, so I can let it catch a lot of it. And then once you get down to the fines, then you get out of the ripples into the other side.
This very expensive gold pan that we bought in Arizona for $5.
Right.
Now is when I think you'd want it to go on the riffles because you barely have anything left.
Trying to get rid of the lightweight stuff now. Got one color.
Huh?
Got one color right there.
Right there. One little fleck.
There it is.
Right there.
Right there.
Pull it out. It's 1/100th of a gram.
Right there, one little flake of gold. Just to give you an idea of what these miners have to go through to get the snow out, we're in June and it's 70 degrees out right now. And look at all that ice by the creek. All right, guys, we're about to pull into Dawson City.
Woohoo!
I'll stick the camera out the truck here so y'all can see it. It's like going back in time. It's pretty cool.
Rolling down the highway, sun setting low. Got the rig packed up, and we're ready to go. The open road's calling, can't let it wait. Adventure's in our blood and we won't be late. Come my cards on the move, we are coming your way. Looking for a good boondocking place to stay. From mountain trails to a quiet desert base, we hike, we bike, but one wheel's all the way. Campfires glowing under starlit skies, kids chasing fireflies, laughter never lies. Coffee in the morning, nature on display. Every stop's a story we're making every day. My car's on the move, we are coming your way. Looking for a good